Hello, Greg from Balloon Market here, and welcome to BMTV. Once again, we are joined by Mark from Qualatex. Mark, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure to have Mark here. Anyway, I just wanted to say, a few shows ago, we had a comment, and somebody was asking us, could we show a topiary tree? And it's because we showed a picture. In fact, we'll show the picture again of a topiary tree that we made for some friends of ours who were getting married. And we put money inside clear 5-inch balloons, put it together as a topiary tree, and gave it as a gift. We used this tool that I've mentioned in a previous episode of BMTV, and this is a castrating tool, and very, very useful. And yeah, but we never showed how to actually create the topiary tree. So Mark has joined us today to show us exactly how to do that. So Mark, over to you.
Well, there's lots of different styles of topiary trees, but they all start with a classic piece of decor, which is the topiary ball.
Okay.
So what we've got here is 12 5-inch balloons in this case, downsized and rounded off and tied into 6 duplets.
Okay, yeah.
So we take our duplets and we put them together into our cluster, and then essentially with each new duplet you pass that through the cluster to the other side, and then the important thing is to cross it over.
Just got to make sure you twist it.
And then it's locked into place.
Yeah.
So again, through the centre.
And it doesn't matter where through the centre, you can just...
Ideally, you want to even out the balloons. So we want to go through so that there's an even number of balloons either side.
Okay.
Make sure that's crossed over. And then the last one, through the centre. And then crossed over. And then once you're done, if you're not sure whether you've got a perfect topiary and you're counting, once you press them in, you'll see if you take any one side of the balloon, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 as a centre.
So you look at any one of it and you should have 5 surrounding it.
So as we rotate that round again, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then 6 with the centre.
Yeah.
And you can see if you wanted to make that into a floral pattern, if you change the colour of this balloon here, to say a lemon, you'd have a flower look to the finish. So that's a topiary ball. They come in lots of different size and shapes, and you can really play with scale, or as you did, double stuffing things inside diamond clear. Yeah. Really, really good. We're going to make that into a tree. And again, there's lots of different styles, you know, go wild with your designs for your tree. But what we've got here is our loamy dish, and we've glued on our base. I've glued the base upside down rather than a tray, and I've got that there so that we can put our clusters on top.
So you can use that the other way, and that's if you were just putting glass beads or something else in there. You could use it for that. So what we're doing is effectively creating this. Is that or something similar to that?
Something similar to that, slightly different scale.
Yeah.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a 5 balloon cluster. So I take my duplet and then tie in, as you normally would, the 3rd balloon.
Yeah.
And then I can make my 5 balloon cluster out of that. And then I'm going to place that onto my base and just cross over and make sure that's sitting nice and flat and firm down to the base.
So does that always have to be
hold there?
Does that always have to be 5 balloons?
No, I've actually chose 5. I can show you why. If I take one of these balloons up, if you had a 4 balloon cluster, you've got a square.
Oh right, okay, on something round.
Yeah, and I'm trying to create some link with the spherical sphere at the top, and also the circular base.
Okay.
So in design terms, I'm trying to create a little bit of unity to the whole design.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we'll do the same with a downsized lime green. I'll just place this on in the same way and cross that over.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can just wriggle those around until you get it just exactly how you want it.
Yep, and essentially that's the main part of our base, and then we're going to correctly install the topiary on top.
Okay. You don't just put it on.
You could just put it on, but it's not going to actually fit or stay there. So what we're going to use is a 260Q, as always.
Taking the air out.
Taking the air out.
Why do we do that, Mark?
We do that so that we don't get any bubbles in the knots, which then create a weak point once you've tied it. And then we're going to wrap that around the top and create a little knot. Essentially just give ourselves a tying point.
Yeah, okay.
And then we can slot that on, as you mentioned before. Just simply take that round and a few wraps round, and that will just hold it.
So you don't need to tie a knot either?
Don't need to tie a knot. As long as it's wrapped round, there's enough ability to hold it. And essentially, that's the start of Utopia. So you dress it up in lots of different ways. We could tuck some tulle in, and we can finish it in lots of different ways. Have you got any?
I'm not happy with that, Mark.
It's not really a finished gift, is it?
It's not a finished product, no. I think we should add something to it.
What would you like to add?
Well, I've prepared some stuff for you, Mark.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
it's a BMTV first.
It is. Here is, I think it's a 160.
It's a 160.
It's a 160.
That we've spiraled.
Yeah, I did that all on my own.
And you managed to leave some tying points at either end.
I thought you might need that.
That'd be great. Thank you.
There you go. Oh, pleasure.
So essentially I'll just tie that into the base, just with a wrap.
Again, the same thing, no need to tie it, just wrap it round.
Wrap it round. Okay. And then this can wrap around central piece.
Yeah.
And then we use the other tying piece. Ideally, if you can find one of the ends that we left lying down.
Yeah.
See one there, you can pull that down and use that to tie to. And when you let go, it will spring back inside the design and hide your mechanics.
Cool. Excellent, look at that.
So we've got some nice rhythm in the centre there, that's fantastic. Have we got anything else to go on here?
It's funny you should say that, Mark. I have got something else. I thought, you know what would be nice? Would be some flowers. So I've made some flowers.
Oh, perfect.
I used pinch twists, I think, for that. Are they pinch twists?
There is a pinch twist.
There is a pinch twist.
And then some loop twists.
I used some loop twists as well, so I hope these are good for you.
Wonderful, Greg. So essentially all I'll do is I'll tie these together, leaving a lot of stretch in between them. So I've got my little pieces of leftover 260Q in the centre, and we can literally just drag that through the centre of the design. Just to create a little bit of interest there.
Perfect.
And then if
I've actually created something else.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know if that's any use.
That 6-petal flower would be just perfect to just finish off at the front of the design there. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought that's what you were going to do.
So I'll just create a little bit of a flat spot in there, and we can drag that 160 through the centre, and our flower will just sit on the end there.
Perfect.
Fantastic.
That's really nice. Because you said earlier about putting tulle. We used short little pieces of tulle about that long and just put them in there. But you were saying earlier you'd probably do that more with clear balloons to add colour.
It's nice and soft, and it gives a really nice textured finish to the finish. Some people use tulle down to a square base.
All right. Okay.
Lots of different ways of finishing topiaries off. But they don't just have to be centerpieces for tables. We could go up a scale.
And what would we get if we were to do that?
Well, if we went up to a really large scale, you could have a hanging design.
Okay.
We've just got a magnet at the top here, a click magnet onto the ceiling.
Yeah.
Tied some beautifully bright organza through the centre.
So they're just 11-inch balloons, those ones?
This is 11-inch down to about 8-inch.
Okay.
And then we've got 5-inch almost to full inflation there. And then we've got the same both sides.
Yeah, yeah.
But you could go one stage further. Instead of having hanging columns, you could create a swag by using a central topiary. If I give you that,
yeah, you can.
And I grab these pieces from either side.
So is there any limit to the size of balloons you can use?
After 24-inch, it gets a little bit difficult, just because you're manhandling the overall dimensions that you're using.
So even 24-inch balloons, you're looking at something
huge.
that big. Yeah. So,
but you can do 3-foot balloons if you attach 350Qs in between. But again, it's very, very difficult.
That must be at least 7 feet.
It's huge, yeah.
We should try that sometime. Or maybe some 5-foot ones.
Watch this space.
Yeah, watch this space, yeah. All right.
So if we just drag this through the centre.
Do you want me to hold this?
Yeah.
And that's all you
have. They're finished swag.
That's really nice. That's fantastic. So you're really only limited by your own creativeness.
Your only creative imagination. The best thing here is the fact that you've got air filled. It's very inexpensive.
Yeah.
And you're selling a lot of space within the design, and that makes it really, really profitable.
So as always, as you always say, you're adding perceived value.
Adding perceived value, yeah.
Mark, once again, thank you so much for showing us that.
You're welcome.
I hope you all enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And well, from myself and Mark, bye. See you next time. See ya.
Have confidence in what you're doing, and I remember a big like a revelation to me was kind of light struck me, and I was reading about a balloon artist and magician up in London who's charging £1,000 plus for a birthday party. And you look at what he does, it's not any different from what someone who was charging, even 40 quid for a birthday party. Yeah. But it's just the fact of he's got enough confidence in his ability to charge that much, and he's found the customers who are prepared to pay it.